Okay, y'all, so listen. I kept hearing this saying, take on my burden, for my burden is light. Every time I was trying to figure out a solution to a challenge that I was having. And this was happening for a couple of weeks. So today, finally, I'm like, where is this in the Bible? Like, what? I know it's in there, but like, where? And so I go to Google. And Google tells me, and I cross-reference it with the Bible because, sometimes Google be giving you some stuff that you're not quite looking for. And I'm like, this time Google was on point. And it is Matthew 11:28-30. And the gist of it, I'm going to just give you the gist, is Jesus telling us to take his yoke and take his burden because it's light. It's easier to carry. Doesn't mean that it's not a burden. Doesn't mean that it's not a yoke. But what he's saying is that it's easier than the one that we would carry. So what I interpret that to be, especially in how my life has been going lately, is that we're going to go through some stuff, but it is not for us to suffer through. God can hold you and give you comfort in the middle of a hailstorm, baby, if you trust him. And what he's saying is, instead of you trying to figure it out on your own, why don't you pray that over to me? Why don't you in your heart say, God, I can't do this. Help me. Give me the answer. And let me tell you something. If y'all thinking that it's only for the big problems, do not get it twisted, baby. It applies to the small things. It applies to figuring out where you go and stop to get gas. God, do I go to this gas station where it's 2 cents cheaper? Or can you show me one that's 4 cents cheaper? Help me out. It applies to those things too. And I'm not making a joke out of Jesus. I'm telling you that when your faith gets that strong and you recognize that instead of you trying to figure out all the answers, all you got to do is go to God. And the next thing he'll tell you, turn right, go left. Like it happens in those moments where we're like, something told me to, or I felt like I should, or you get a phone call from somebody and they're like, oh, come meet me over here. And in meeting them over there, you find that gas station where it's like 4 cents cheaper. And I'm using gas as like a light one because it's the first thing that popped into my head. But this is how it works. And I'm not saying it from some random other person's story. I'm saying this from my lived experience. When you start to lean in and trust God and say, hey, listen, I want to do it your way. Help me out. Then you give him your thinking. You give him your logic and you say, I'm not going to do it myself. I'm going to wait for you to guide me. And you let him guide you. And again, like I said, how do you know he's guiding you? It comes in those urges, those something told me moments, those phone calls that you get. The more that you get surrounded by people who believe and who are actively trying to live this God-guided life, they can also then begin to help you. It happens in multiple ways. Hell, it can happen from the strangest person in the world. Somebody who has no belief whatsoever in God can also be used by God to tell you what you need in that moment. But you, my friend, you, talking to the believer, the one that said, you know what? Yeah, I believe that Jesus exists. I believe that Jesus died for me and went and got saved. I'm talking to you. You got to learn to start living in faith. God didn't say that we needed to be perfect and that we needed to have our lives together for him to start blessing us. He never said that. He knew we were going to struggle. All the people up in the Bible got all kind of sins going on. Even the biggest ones, the David, his own blood's sake, lineage sake. David killed his homeboy and slept with his wife and had a baby in all this mess. Like, let's be real. God knows you about your sins and your struggles and all the things that you're still doing. And he still said, yo, come to me. I'm here. This is what I'm here for. I want you to be with me. But you gotta lean into it and trust him and try it out. And I say all this to say, start activating your faith by saying, hey, God, listen, I don't want to figure it out today. I don't want to do this thing today. Help me. You do it. Tell me what to do. And know that the answers may not come when you want them. But that saying about it's always on time, it's always on God's timing. And God's timing is better than anything else because we may be rushing something and he's like, baby, if you get that now, you ain't even ready for it. Your head ain't right. But when I give it to you next year or 3 minutes from now or 7 months from now, it's going to be just right, because I know I would have worked out whatever I needed to work out in you for you to maintain this. Anyway, if this resonated with you in any way, I want you to be a part of the Goal Achievers Alliance community, because this is a community that I am building up of like-minded Christians who know that we're struggling, who know that we ain't perfect, who knows that something in us is still craving a relationship with God and that we want it to go deeper. I don't care what stage and level you're at. I want you to have a sense of belief that God exists and a desire to get closer to him. And then this group is for you. We're not going to beat you over the head with the Bible. We're not going to make you feel bad and wrong, baby, because that's not what this is about. I'm doing this because I feel led, and I feel like that urge and that something told me wouldn't leave me alone. And so now I'm being obedient, and I started the group, and this group is for you. It's time for you to get in it. I did my part. Now you follow up with yours, and I'll see you over there. The Goal Achievers Alliance Facebook group. Join it. It's free. See you over there, baby. Never stop growing.